Red Star Paris, or just called Red Star. But I love this club in a sense that it does do well what a club should do, and yeah, it represents the fans really well. And when it comes to a kit, they don't really do that wrong as well. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. It means a lot for you coming to my channel. I would love to do a lot more of these, so if you can, please subscribe as we are talking. If you're keen on any more kits or anything else you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments below. But let's get into today's video. And today like I said, we have the Red Star Paris 2020-21 kit by Adidas. I do have the away kit here with me, and I'll tell you why soon. Now, I have one of the older kits here with me, 2017-2018 era. The club has made some amazing kits in the past. I think with recent times, their sponsorship with Vice has given the club a bit more of a unique, sort of iconic stance in the football history, but the club themselves are a bit more on the level of being that club that everyone just likes on the side. But I think they've grown a unique sort of cult figure to the club. Their fans are really outspoken, political, but in a great way. And Vice has a connection with them where they do have a great sort of cultural approach. The kits themselves represent who they are, and the fans, the players. And if you do a little bit of research, you do see they have produced some talent in the French ranks, but as a club, unfortunately, they haven't really come back to the top Ligue 1. They've played in the lower leagues. They got relegated last season, unfortunately, but to still see that Adidas does give the love for the club in the lower leagues shows you that this club is special to the fans, but they are growing over time. So I really look forward to seeing them hopefully make it back into the glory days. All right, so this club has been around since the late 1800s, making them the second oldest club in French football. Now, they unfortunately haven't had the best of times. Their stadium, unfortunately, doesn't meet the regulations for Ligue 1, and even when they were in the second division, they were not allowed to play at that stadium, so they played at the rugby stadium down the road, which is across the road from Parc des Princes. And if you have been to Paris, Paris is pretty tight and small, so to find that the city itself has multiple stadiums around the area, with of course at PSG, there's the rugby stadium, but down the road is where these guys have their pitch. And if you look at online, the stadium itself is breaking away, but I would hope that the sales on these kits does fund for them to get that stadium fixed, because it is a beautiful sort of arena and atmosphere that they could create there, whether they have 2,000 or 10,000 fans. But I think this club does really well off the pitch. I would love to see them do that on the pitch, and even spend a little money on their sort of, their vicinities, because check it out, because it's a beautiful stadium. Now, like I said, this club is loved online, whether it's more for the kids, but the culture. The thing about this club that everyone loves is that it's always on someone's sort of conversation. It's a topic of everyone's conversation. When this kit came out, it was everywhere. Not only was Soccer Bible talking about, but every kit man, every kit girl, everyone online on Twitter, on Instagram was sharing this kit. The photo shoots they do, always unique. So last year's kit, when they released it, they used Google Maps to show the kit itself. So if you are to go to the Stadium Stade de Bayeux, you go on their Google Maps, you can see how they launched some of their signings. They basically had someone standing on the pitch holding their shirt of the season, and that's how they announced it. They said, hey, look at these longitude, latitude points, and you'll find our season signing. But this club always finds new ways of approaching football, and I think they gather a lot of attention that way. Again, I do hope to see them, find fortune on the pitch, but they're doing amazing things off the pitch. The club is known for their rebel culture. I think something about football culture is that if the club off the pitch does really well, for example, St. Pauli, it does stand out, and it's more about the message that the club does spread than on the pitch. And of course, like their neighbors down the road, when they get bought out by someone else, they kind of lose that connection to reality. I do think that Red Star does have that authentic, original sort of taste to what French football is and was. So I do love what they have done again in representing that in a kit. Now, their home kit is green, but of course, I'm not a huge fan of green kits. I do have a few, as I mentioned in a previous video, but I love the sort of pinky red vibe of this one. It's something different, and it does have that sort of Red Star feel, and I would love to have seen this in multiple colors, maybe a black with a white sort of detail on it. But let's get into it and talk about the design itself. The kit itself is designed by We Are Asset FC, based in London. They've done amazing jobs around the football industry. I can note those in the description below, but the club had gone to the designers and of course vice versa, and then wanted to create something that's not only unique but represent the club and the surrounding areas for itself. Now, if you are to look on Google Maps, like I said before, or even Google the surrounding areas, you will see that the economy or the sort of level living of the area is a bit more sort of middle class. So that is represented in this kit as well, because the fans play a big part in their club's culture. The local flea market does also make a representation in the kit, because that also is an iconic sort of tourist attraction for anyone visiting Paris. But a club for culture does have a big part to play with fans and the players, so it does feature a lot of their past and present players, but also in the past a lot of their outrageous fans. Fun fact about this kit is that Adidas did approve that this is the only French team in the league to have their own unique design, so that speaks highly of the club's representation in football. Hey Siri, French pattern toile de jouy. Now I really want to pronounce this correctly, so I'm going to get Google's assistance.
Toile de jouy.
Toile de jouy, so forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, but that's the French sort of pattern design that this is based on, or known as the jouy print. It is an 1800 design or technology that was famous for the French designers. To describe it in more of an easier way, it basically is printed onto linen or a fabric that is repeated over multiple times. Now it does vary over different versions and in many colors, but I think when it comes to the French iconic painters like Monet, I think this design is unique in its way, and I really like that they've put that French flavor to it. Some people, when they saw this design itself, they thought that the pink and red does represent the sort of Chinese ink design, but it's not. It's definitely represented to the Toile de Jouy French print, and I think it's unique. So I would love to see, you know, any other French fans out there tell me what they think about this representation. But as a kit, I really love what they've done. So let's just rate a few of the kit's points and pros and cons. Now, this is on the Adidas Condivo 20 template. Now, I did read online that this template itself is being sort of removed from the Adidas designs, and I think as of next year there's going to be a 21, which will be introduced to a few of the international teams. But I did see that this design does show up on the Sheffield United kit. One thing I do love about it, and I think I also noticed it on the Adidas Arsenal home kit for this year, but in a different sort of design, is the large sort of sleeve on the arms here. It does that sort of 90s nostalgic approach, and I really love how it feels when you're wearing it. So that's a massive point on this kit. So if you are looking to buy this kit, that is definitely my number one sort of liking on this. The only thing I don't like about the print, and it sort of makes me upset, is that the pattern does get cut away in some way, so you don't get the full image. Of course, having that going on to different panels of the design would be a lot more expensive, but also it's not as easy as it is being said. So I definitely understand why it is not, you know, done like that. Of course, on the back, it is simple with numbering. Hopefully on the away kit, it is a bit more of a reddy pink color rather than having a black. So I definitely would love to see how this looks in the Players Edition. Another thing I do love about this Condivo design is that Adidas has been playing a lot on the neckline and the collars. This one is a nice fit. It does have that sort of retro nostalgic feel again around the neck, so another bonus points on that. The material itself is really silky compared to other kits that I've bought. It does play on sort of the recent past kits, but I think out of all, I think maybe the last 5 years of Adidas and Red Star's designs, this is by far their best one. As a kit and worth the dollar, this is by far the best kit they've made. That being said, I spent around $160 for this kit. Now, I don't spend that much money on a football kit in general, whether it's any of the top teams. But I think when it comes to a special club like Red Star, $160 does play a big part. I do hope to see that money going into the pockets of these players or any of the youth players at the club, because I don't like spending that much money knowing that it's just going to go into the back pockets of, a large firm like Adidas. But We Are Asset FC have done an amazing job for this club, and I do love to, see them do a lot more unique designs, because when you see this happening for a club like Red Star, you wonder why clubs like Man United don't spend a lot more time on getting designers like We Are Asset to design kits for them. I know it plays a lot of parts on, sponsors and legality problems, but you'd love to see a lot more bespoke, more, unique designs for clubs, because this is why we spend money. We don't spend money for the same kit every year. So if you are watching and you want to spend your money on a kit this year, if you want to spend $160 on one kit, if you're not buying a retro kit out there, definitely buy yourself one of these, because they'll play a big part in football kit history. That is a big thing to say, and I know everyone has their own say, but that is my thing to say. And I think that this kit definitely will be a future classic. And I know the club won't do massive things on it on the pitch, but I think as a football culture item, this is definitely a kit to get. To finish off the rating of small parts of this kit, I will have to say again, I love how they've gone for the maroon color of the Vice logo, the maroon of the Adidas manufacturer logo, and of course the badge itself. The stitching on this is immaculate. I'm really happy to see what they've done. Also noting that the 3 stripes on the shoulders are also maroon, or reddy color to be exact. The kit does look great in person. I saw it on Soccer Bible online, and I was sold straight away. So to have it in my hands, I definitely do have to say this is a beautiful kit. There is nothing bad I can say about it, apart from, I would have loved to have seen some sort of authentication badge at the bottom, just making sure, if you're looking at fakes, that you have that. That being said, you do have the identification code inside. So if you are looking to buy Adidas kits and you want to make sure it's not fake, I have a video right above me right now. But of course, that is a nice way to find out if it's legit, authentic, or fake. But you see that in a lot of the kits with Nike, they have the identification at the bottom. I would have loved to have seen something like a star at the bottom, just being a bit more unique. Last but not least, one thing I do want to say about this design, and it played a massive part on the kit when it came out. And when it comes to being in the creative industry myself as a photographer, you don't like your work being sort of taken for granted, or just, absorbed and created in another manner. So basically copied. Now, there was a massive statement about, Chinatown, New York, saying that they had designed something for an art piece with a collaboration they're doing. I can't remember exactly on top of my head. I think it was a Dan Funderburg design in 2008. They had collaborated on something and made this beautiful piece. And then there was a statement by the team themselves. It's sort of like a social team, and they do a lot of massive things for New York football. They were saying that this design was copied. Now, one of the creative directors, I'm not sure if it's been approved that he was a creative director of Red Star, but he had messaged that they said the We Are Asset designed this. Now, say what you want to say. I think when it comes to football, but also the creative industry, it's really hard to tell people where you get influence. It's like music, you hear a beat, you repeat it, and then people think, oh, but you copied them. It's really hard to state what happened here, but there's going to be a massive sort of indication of who did what. So my personal opinion, think that the French sort of design has been around since the early 1800s, as mentioned, so I don't see it being a big issue. But I think when it comes to football designers, I would have loved to have seen a bit more sort of communication with the football industry, like Dan Vandenberg and the Chinatown, New York guys, because it would have played a big more relationship if they had some sort of connection with them. But again, this is something when you have like a team like We Are Asset that should have done their research, but it is football, so a lot of mistakes are made. And I think in future times to come, I do wish to see people like this collaborate, because a lot of good things come out when you get creatives and big companies working together, because you never know, you might create something that an agency wouldn't. But of course, this kit itself is beautiful, and I love to see a lot more versions like this. So that is my review, and I definitely will give this a 5 out of 5, and I think you definitely need to buy this kit. Now, when it comes to the money side of things, like I said, this is a big
splash out of your wallet. So if you are willing to buy a kit, this is the one to get for this year. When it comes to kits, released in 2020 so far, this one does sit alongside some of the best ones. I know a lot of people don't like their busyness, but I think this is a future classic, so I really like it and I really recommend it. And to finish off the video with a question for you, the viewers, is there a club out there that you think needs a bespoke design? Because we're paying big money for some of these kits, and when it comes to like being a United fan, you spend around 180 for a player version, but it literally is the same design as last year or the year before, just a different color. What club out there do you think deserves a bespoke designed kit? When I say bespoke, I mean like a unique design just for them, because we get sort of templates and stuff, but when it comes to a design, you see that maybe represented over years to come. It happened in the 80s and 90s, but with modern times, and to see teams like Red Star have that sort of power to create unique kits, what is a team that you think should get a unique design? Now, Nike has done amazing things for Nigeria and for Korea. I do hope to see that in times to come for future clubs in the Premier League or Liga, Bundesliga. But yeah, tell me, what club do you think deserves a bespoke design? Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, please leave a like below, a subscribe, and yeah, I look forward to creating these videos. I am currently pushing 3 videos a week. Hopefully we may get back to some normality, maybe 2 or 1 a week, but I think at the moment during the pandemic and a lockdown in Melbourne, I'm trying my best to create 3 a week. So I hope you're enjoying them. Please let me know if you have any ideas, but as always, stay safe and I'll see you soon. Thank you and goodbye.